Hello, so today is going to be the most high roll game that I'll probably have for the rest of the set. I don't really see anything getting much better than this, so let's get it out of the way early. This is going to be the max cap conqueror game. If you're curious about conqueror, if you're trying to see like how it works, how it gets played, all of that stuff, this is the video for you. Kind of jokingly though, because this one was extremely high roll. Basically, if you can see from the thumbnail, I hit 9 conqueror, got max cash out, all of that stuff. No spoilers because it's in the thumbnail. But this is gonna be how I did it, and then I'm gonna be going through it. I'm gonna explain my thought process along the way, kind of like a normal VOD review. On this channel, I normally do VOD reviews just for like, you know, help myself learn stuff. I review all my videos just to try and improve at the game, and then I'll post on some of them here just daily so that you guys have a resource that, you know, while you watch a game of TFT, you have someone like me that just talks over it a little bit, gives you some insight on what I was doing along the way that you can use to then improve at your own games if you want. But anyways, let's get to it. So early game, I might be playing around snipers. As you can see, I'm kind of setting myself up to play snipers, and I always hold on to a Swain, right? Swain is one of the strongest units. That I feel like early game especially, Swain is just really good. So I'm holding on to Swain, I'm holding on to an Irelia pair. I end up selling it for Tristana. You could decide either or. The way that I'm looking at it is that, okay, maybe I can just play snipers. As you can see, I have the Scar and I have the Amumu early game. So a really good line that you can play is Kog'Maw reroll. So that's something that might come up. Anyway, so if we look here, Clear Mind, I don't think I want to do, because if I'm playing, if I'm angling towards a reroll, Clear Mind might not really fit that well. High Voltage is okay if I'm playing towards AP. But then here, this is the big one. Noxin Guillotine. So there's no augment stats, but I can tell you, like, you know, if it sniffs broken and it looks broken, it's probably broken. Noxin Guillotine is very strong. So we're gonna do a couple things here. We're gonna tab out for a second. I'm just gonna introduce the trait of conquerors just so you guys know what it is, right? So let's just go in the team planner. I'm gonna put in the conquerors. The conquerors are all the Noxin units. They're all the units from Noxus. If you play League, I don't, so you know, but I know them from the Noxus trait that was in set 9 of TFT, and that's where I learned about a lot of these units. And I also know Mordekaiser because I played Mordekaiser against bots when I was trying to learn how to play League. But anyways, conquerors. So the way this trait works is, we'll read it out. So basically what it does is, it's like a cash out trait. So conquerors takedowns grant stacks of conquest, and then once those stacks happen, you'll see the little counter on the side when you put it in. For every time that you open chests, you gain 3% extra power, and then the base power is listed below, and these cash outs give you certain cash outs. So we go under this is tactics by tools. The way I feel like I'm gonna answer some of the comments, but a lot of people always ask me what this is. But you can look at the tables, and you can see over here as well what the conqueror cash outs are. So these are like the breakpoints of how much conquest and what it gives you for each cash out, right? I would say that vertical conqueror is pretty bad to play around, because like there's a lot of low cost units, then you have to reroll, and then it doesn't really synergize well, because in order to hit like those higher cash outs, you need to get 6 conqueror really early, and then it requires a Mordekaiser with a 5 cost and Ambessa, which is a 4 cost, so it's a little bit difficult to play around. But anyways, let's get back to the game. So Noxus Guillotine, it basically gives all the conquerors an execute. Now why is that broken? The reason it's broken is because the conqueror stacks only work when Noxin units get killed. So what ends up happening a lot of the times is, if you don't have those Noxin units upgraded and like in a really good spot, you run yourself into a problem where you don't necessarily get the kill all the time. But if you give them the execute with the Noxus Guillotine, they'll never get kill stolen by somebody else. They'll always be the one that does the finishing blow, because unless you have like another unit that just like you stacked items on, nobody's gonna accidentally like do that finishing blow. So basically it guarantees you having max stacks of conquest for every unit that you kill. It's never going to be a situation where a Noxin unit is not getting a kill, and that is a huge difference that really adds up, because it helps you to tempo really early. What I mean by tempo is, you want to get these cash outs as soon as possible, because they give you gold, they give you duplicators, they give you upgraded units, etc. The more cash outs you get, the earlier that you get them, the more you kind of steamroll, and it keeps going and it keeps going. Then you have the resources to level, you have the resources to reroll, you have the resources to make your board a little bit stronger. As you can see here, I put Archangels on Swain. This is a little bit of a troll thing. It's something that's like technically good, but like not really, but it's like it's okay. My other units are mostly AD in this comp, so I don't really care about having a tier and a rod. So I make Archangels because this Swain is basically unkillable with Archangels. It is something that's kind of like gimmicky. I wouldn't recommend doing this all the time, but because I have Nox and Guillotine, I basically want this Swain to live forever. Now, I took Nox and Guillotine even though I didn't have a lot of Nox in units because of two reasons. Number one, it was loot subscription, so it's going to be one of those like wacky high roll kind of games. So I'm like, if I get a Conqueror spat, then I can play around the 6 Conqueror trait really early without having to rely on finding a Mordekaiser, which is good. And also, because I already had a Swain, I kind of have a lot of belief in this Swain as being a broken unit in the early game, of him just being unkillable throughout stage 2. So if this Swain is unkillable around here, then I'm going to get a bunch of stacks for the Noxian units. Sorry, my inking is bugged out. Let me just do that. I'm circling stuff. Man, the whole point is that if I'm going to be getting a bunch of stacks on stage 2, that's what you want, right? That's good for you. That's your little stacks right here. And if I win most of these stage 2 rounds, I'm just going to steamroll the rest of the lobby. So for my artifact anvil, I took Mittens. I'm assuming Mittens will be good on Ambessa because she really likes attack speed a lot of the time. That's why Enforcer Emblem seems really good on her, I feel like. Just giving her a bunch of attack speed because she has built-in Omnivamp and a lot of damage already. So if you give her a shit ton of attack speed, it seems to work out really well. I'm going to wait to like actually look at item stats until around next week. I just want the patch to kind of simmer a little bit before I start giving you guys like a little bit of a more informed take on like what items are best in what spot, just because it's still too early to tell in my opinion. There's just too low of a sample size, especially on like some of these more like niche things like artifacts. But anyways, if you watch this Swain, he's basically never gonna die. It's just part of it, and because I have the execute, this Draven is just gonna keep throwing axes, and eventually as soon as they drop to 12% health, they're just gonna die. So I'm winning a lot of these rounds really convincingly. This is the power of this augment in particular. I wouldn't really play towards Conqueror unless you have this augment. I don't believe in the Conqueror trait that much. Maybe if you have like a +1 Conqueror, it's okay, but I think it's really bait. I would definitely refrain from it until you like kind of like, you know, have stuff work out. Here, I'm going to take the Rel for sure. So Rel is another Conqueror, and it gives me 4 Conqueror. The higher the Conqueror that you get, like the higher the synergy is of the Conquerors, the faster you ramp up. So me having this Rel, this turn I can level, and I'm going to be 4 Conqueror. And being 4 Conqueror, I'm going to stack up this thing really, really fast, really, really early, right? So a lot of me taking this augment was because I already had a Swain, and that's why. The Swain is the hardest to find, right? You're definitely going to find a Draven, you're definitely going to find a Darius. The difficult part is finding the Swain, because the Swain is a 3 cost, so it's going to be really unlucky. You have to be really lucky to find it in stage 2. But as you can see, without an emblem, I'm already going to be 4 Conqueror right now. That's a huge aspect of this game, and like, you know, it's why you can't just take this blindly. You can't just take it whenever. Part of the reason why this game worked out so well is because I had a Swain to start, and that's why I took it. Right, if I didn't have a Swain, I probably wouldn't take Nox and Guillotine, even though it is pretty good with this trait and augment and all of that stuff. But anyways, like I said, this is going to be a very high roll game. We're already starting. As you can see, the Swain is just unkillable. The way Swain works is that he gains and heals HP based on AP. So if you give him something like an Archangels, he's really hard to kill. Also, I found a Gangplank. So this is another high roll aspect of this game. Gangplank gives Form Swapper to Swain, which gives him a bunch of durability. So now he's basically has a bunch of durability, and he has like the fucking and he has the Archangel, so he just heals a bunch. So this guy's literally just a Swain 1. He's pretty much unkillable. You know, it is what it is. It's fine, whatever. I also get Pit Fighter synergy with the Gangplank on the Draven, so it helps out a little bit. But like I said, Nox and Guillotine, really good because the execute guarantees that you're maximizing your Conqueror stacks early game. You're not getting kill stolen by anybody. And then additionally, having the Swain and 4 Conqueror in, it's a very like tempo comp, right? If you play this and you're not winning early game rounds, then you're not getting these early cash outs. It kind of just you can easily just like find yourself in a really bad spot really early. The reason this is so strong is because with Nox and Guillotine and the 4 units, my board is pretty strong. I have this Swain that is really hard to kill in stage 2. I get all of these cash outs because they just can't kill the Swain, and then eventually they just die to the execute. So as you can see, I've already gotten 2 cash outs. This cash out is that it gives me an upgraded 2 cost unit. It's not one that I can particularly use, so it's basically just a bunch of gold. So I'm just going to sell it probably for 5 gold. You could technically play Quick Striker. This is the Nocturne unit, but it doesn't necessarily fit into my board for late game, so I'm probably going to sell it. My next in is probably either Scrap, which will turn one of my components into a completed item, or Sentinel, which helps out my whole board. Sorcerer is a little bit fake because Sorcerer doesn't really do all that much because Swain already has a bunch of AP. Sorcerer only gives like 10 AP, so you know, just 2 Sorc doesn't really matter that much. So it's probably gonna be Sentinel for team-wide armor buff, or Sorcerer, or a Scrap for the extra component that I can use. Anyways, loot sub. So loot sub, I get a Conqueror emblem. It just gave an emblem. This is a loot sub game. Of course, every high roll game is going to be one of the high roll portals, either Scuttle Puzzle or loot sub. They're going to be those high variants. Things just randomly happen, and it is what it is. So, you know, that's what this game is. It's a average loot sub game, except at this point, I just, you know, started my game off really aggressively with a Swain, so I was able to win a lot of these early rounds, and I'm just steamrolling, right? I also picked a trait, right? It also worked out because I got the Swain. This trait is one that the more you win early, the more you kind of stockpile and continue to win later in the game, right? It's something that scales with cash out. So if you're constantly killing every single unit and winning every single fight, I'm getting maximum, like this is the absolute most conqueror stacks I could be getting at given moment, right? Anyway, 61 out of 65. We're gonna get another cash out next turn. You can follow along on the loot table if you want. The loot table basically just says what each of them are. It's not a mystery, but it's not that necessary. Like, you don't have to know it particularly. Here it's prismatic now. Prismatic is pretty scary in a lot of cases. I would ideally like a prismatic combat augment, and we'll see. But here I see Conqueror Crown. Now, Conqueror Crown isn't that important. Technically, you need 3 Conqueror emblems to hit 9 Conqueror, so it's very unlikely. It is loot sub. The reason I'm taking Conqueror Crown is because it gives you a Last Whisper, which is basically a sundering component, so it reduces armor. It's a very valuable component, and it gives a Rel. So I basically upgraded my Rel 2. It gave me a Last Whisper, which ups my damage by a lot, because basically now I can reduce armor with the Last Whisper. And additionally, because the Conqueror emblem, I already have a Conqueror emblem, I get to 6 Conqueror. So that's the reason why I took those items in this particular case, right? I would recommend that a lot of times, like, even though it looks really good, you shouldn't ever put yourself in a spot, unless you're like in dire straits and you're gonna lose the game. You shouldn't really put yourself in a spot where you are, how do I phrase it, where you're chasing a vertical trait. This isn't something that I'm not taking the Conqueror emblem because I'm chasing 9 Conqueror right now. I'm taking it because it makes me the strongest this turn. There's a really big difference, right? If I was losing every single round, I probably wouldn't take the Conqueror emblem. I would take like something that helps me to boost my board's power level, right? This was the thing that made me the strongest because it gives me 6 Conqueror, which buffs my whole board because they all gain a bunch of buffs. It continues me to continue my cash outs that I'm going for, which are going to be really strong in a little bit. And then it gives me 6 Conqueror, which ups everybody as well. Right? It also gave me the Last Whisper. Sorry, that's the last thing. Give me the Last Whisper, which is an item that I was gonna make anyways, right? I want to make a Last Whisper or an Even Shroud because I want to. My team mostly, for the most part, because I'm gonna be playing around Ambessa this game, is going to be doing AD damage, so I want to reduce armor. So it gave me an item that reduces armor. So all the aspects of taking the spatula were the correct things for the spot that I was in. That's why you take it. Now, obviously, you know, from the thumbnail, you're going to know what ends up happening this game. But I just want to make it very clear that this isn't like a chase game. This is like I'm continuing to tempo as long as I can. And if I continue to high roll, so be it. If I stop high rolling, at least I preserved as much HP as possible in this mid game by making myself as strong as possible. But as you can see, we're 100 streaking right now. So it is all good. But that's what you should always consider, that when you read an augment, you should always look at the other stuff that it gives you. Like, for example, if you're like playing Academy and you see an Academy emblem, you have to read the units that it gives you, the item that it gives you, and see if all those other things are useful as well. It's a really big part of when you pick augments, especially if it's a prismatic, because prismatic, somebody else can hit like, you know, Jeweled Lotus, where they have like a bunch of crit chance, or some other combat augment, things that buff their board by a lot. Obviously, like, you know, the very easy play is like, oh, it's Conqueror, you take Conqueror, and you play Conquerors, easy clap, done, right? But a lot of times you have to really consider, okay, are the other things that this thing is giving me, are they useful for my board? And in this case, yes, they were exactly what I needed. It upgraded me to Rel 2, it gave me Armor Pen, and it gave me 6 Conqueror. Like, all 3 things were amazing for me. Anyways, here I found a Corki. So Corki gives scrap. It's not that important, but I'm down to just play the Corki. It's a 4 cost. So, you know, I just rearranged my items a little bit. I was able to make a redemption. Redemption basically gives this Swain some extra healing. So he's basically like actually unkillable. He's gonna take like 0 damage for most of the game. So it's totally fine. So I have my triple tank items. I don't have anti-heal right now. That's the only thing I have to work on. I got another CASHOUT, which I have this lesser duplicator. So, you know, we can use that lesser duplicator as we wish. But yeah, we're all good. Gangplank is one of the best holders of Conqueror Emblem, by the way, because you can just play around this Swain and Gangplank for much of your game. So you should always consider playing around Gangplank Swain when you're playing around the Conqueror line. I also leveled to 7 here because I'm just continuing to do my win streak. I'm protecting a really large win streak, so every round I'm getting a bunch of gold. So I'm much further ahead than the rest of the lobby. As you can see, I'm 100 streaking. The next closest person doesn't even look like they're anywhere close to being able to beat my board. Just because of how far ahead I am. And as you can see here, there's another decision to make. You can greed these duplicators because it's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you got Swain 3? Yeah, it would be. But this turn, I had 2 Swains. What do? I immediately make Swain 2. The reason I immediately made Swain 2 is because this is right before a neutral round. I want to keep my win streak. Right? Don't greed duplicators unless there's a real reason to greed the duplicators. Right? I am nowhere near Swain 3. That is not something that I need to care about. Right? I'm not going to reroll Swain. I'm not going to stay on level 7 and reroll Swain. I'm going to go to level 8. Right? My game plan isn't to hit Swain 3 to win the game. My game plan is to hit Ambessa. I'm going to drop one of these units. I'm going to play Ambessa over like maybe, what's his name? Over Darius or something. And then I'm going to try and play like a level 9 board, maybe 4 Emissary, team-wide buffs, and just continue to tempo. Right, and get as many cash outs as I can in order to be as strong as possible. If someone high rolls harder than me because it's loot sub and they hit some crazy shit on their board, so be it. But the idea is that I am trying to win streak, so I have to make decisions that continue me win streaking. And the thing that continues me win streaking is upgrading Swain to Swain 2. Anyways, I get a Caitlyn because that's one of the cash outs is a free 5 cost. I don't think I can fit Caitlyn on my board, so it's fine. But this is my board right now. I know I said that I was probably going to play Sentinel instead of Sorcerer, but I found this guy that also gives me, it not only gives me Sorcerer, it also gives me Watcher, so it makes my Garen a little bit more tanky, so that's why I'm playing the Sorcerer Watcher instead of playing something like Sentinel, which I was saying before. I would put in Sentinel before Sorcerer in most cases. But anyways, let's see how this goes. So loot sub, it just gave 2 Reforgers, which, you know, that's fine. I can kind of use those maybe. We'll see. But here I just leveled to 8, right? It's an off-tempo level, but I don't think I'm going to roll too aggressively on this turn. Basically, it just cost me 1 gold, but leveling to 8 does give me Sentinel with this Loris, which gives my whole team a bunch of armor, or a little bit of armor. So it's just to continue the idea of that I want to continue this win streak as long as possible. It's not worth it to greed to try and, like, you know, save every dollar to make your board as strong as possible, because I'm playing a very tempo comp. I'm trying to win streak as long as possible and continue to win streak. So I want to do decisions that continue me win streaking. This is a Vi 3. It's very scary. So Vi 3 is really like giga broken. You know what's more broken than a Vi 3? A Swain with an Archangels, because this Vi just doesn't have enough damage to burst it down. Now, I thought I was going to lose this fight, by the way. I was like, oh, god damn it, I think I lose this fight. This Swain lived just long enough for this Mittens Corki to get an extra cast off and kill the Vi, which is crazy. Unlikely duo, if it was the Ambessa, if it was Martial Law, it would have been really cool, but it's not. It's, I'm not going to play either of these units, so it's kind of bait to take in this spot. I would like to take some sort of combat augment that could help my board. Pandora's is useless. I don't really care about it. Mace's Will is okay, but Mace's Will isn't that great unless you already have an IE. Now, I do have an IE, so I might just take it. We'll see. It also gives attack speed, which is pretty good. Inspiring Epitaph is also fine. Basically, like, Mace's Will gives crit chance, so it's pretty cool. but it doesn't make the abilities critically strike, so you usually want an IE, like the one that's on this Gangplank, right? Anyways, I find the Ambessa, so I found it without rolling that much, which is pretty cool, but I was already level 8, so, you know, I rolled a little bit, I found an Ambessa, and now I'm just gonna chill, right? Now is the point where it's like, okay, I've been playing really aggressively, maybe now I chill for a little bit, because I found the copy of the unit that I needed. The reason I need to find at least one copy of Ambessa is because it's the anomaly right here. You want to have at least one copy of a unit that you want to upgrade for the anomaly, because you can't roll on the anomaly round. So you want to make sure you have it either on your bench or on your board. So at this point in time, I just rolled to see until I found an Ambessa. I found one copy of Ambessa. Now I'm going to make 50 gold, and I'm just going to try and make it to level 9. I'm in a spot where, you know, I'm not trying to necessarily play towards, like, you know, anything super crazy, but I'm in a spot to win this game. I'm okay now with losing a couple rounds. Like, you know, I don't have to roll for, like, Ambessa 2 here. I could just lose 1 or 2 rounds, chill for a little bit, and make it straight to 9, because I'm making 50 gold right now. I'm so far ahead of the lobby in terms of gold from winning all the time and getting all of these cash outs that I'm in a really, really good spot right now to basically go level 9, and then instead of rolling all my gold on level 8 here, I'll roll on level 9. I have better odds of hitting a 4 cost, so I'm probably going to hit Ambessa 2 anyways when I get to level 9. And additionally, I can also play around Mordekaiser, which is the 5 cost conqueror. I can play around other 5 costs like Savika or Jinx or something else in my board that fits really well. Additionally, I can also play around Emissary. With 2 Conqueror emblems, you can play 4 Emissary, 6 Conqueror on level 9. I think you can also fit it on level 8, technically, right? Because one of them shares a trait, so you need 9 open spots. I think you need to be level 9, though. I don't remember the math. Do the math yourselves. I don't care. But either way, I'm like, this is the board that I'm trying to aim towards playing, right? It's like, I'm going to play 6. You can play 6 Conqueror, 4 Emissary on level 8 as well. Emissary is just a team-wide buff. It is active as 1 or 4. And Ambessa is one of the Emissary units. So with 2 emblems, you can play it on level 8, I'm pretty sure. But normally you can just do, it's easier to just do it on level 9, because you just have the open spot that you don't have to worry about anything. Anyways, hopefully it's been fun so far. I'm trying to still make this informative. At one point in this video, things are just going to get really wacky. So at that point, we're just going to laugh at how absurd the game kind of goes at that point. But, you know, up until then, I still want to try and teach you guys a little bit, like, or not teach you, like, you know, not in, like, a super instructive way, but I just want to make it, like, very clear, like, oh, I'm playing tempo here, I'm doing this here, just so you guys have, like, a rough idea of, you know, if I didn't high roll into the ending of this game, how this was still a game plan to play around, right? It wasn't just a, I'm just going to play whatever for whatever's sake. Anyways, I find I get dropped from my cash out a Savika 2, one of the cash outs at 2-star 5 cost. So I immediately just lose the Draven, which is the pit fighter that I don't really need, because I have pit fighter with Gangplank, and I put back in this guy for a little bit more frontline, and I put the Conqueror stacks on the Savika, because I'm sure the Savika 2 is going to do more damage than a Draven, right? But as you can see, this guy's going for reroll. He hasn't hit yet, which is fine by me. I'm okay with that. I'm just kind of steamrolling the lobby. I am still 100 streaking. The next closest person has 62 HP. I am absolutely railing the lobby, which is hilarious because I am never in this spot. I'm usually on the other end of this where I'm already dead because I just never hit any of my units. So I'm totally okay with that. Here I'm going to roll for a, this is the anomaly. The anomaly that I want is going to be for the Ambessa. So pretty much anything that works with a melee unit is good. This is gain 1,000 health. I know 1,000 health, you might read it and it sounds like, oh, that's like something that you put on a tank. Something you always have to consider is that melee units love to have HP and armor. Melee units, like, yes, they want Omnivamp, yes, they want attack speed, but HP and armor also work because they're essentially frontline units that do damage. So anything that works as a frontline unit augment is good. So the ones that give you a bunch of HP or a bunch of armor are typically very, very good. And I in my head, I'm like, there's not much better than that. The only melee augment that is like actually like giga broken that you can really aggressively roll for if you're in dire straits is you can roll for the one that every 4 seconds you turn invisible. It's basically like having an edge of night every 4 seconds of fight. It's very broken on melee units. So that one's like probably the best melee one. Then there's also the execute one, which I don't need because I have the Noxin guillotine. But anything that gives a bunch of HP is fine as well. or a bunch of armor. Those are all totally fine. They literally removed one of the anomalies in the B patch because it was the one where it's like they removed an anomaly where it was like take a unit, turn it into an item, and then that unit gains all the stats of that other unit. And what people were doing, which they found out really early, there was like a tech where you would just roll for the that anomaly. You would put in 6 sentinel, you would delete one of the sentinel units, and then you just put it on like a melee unit like a Kali or Nocturne, and they would just have like 300 armor because they're just like, you just nerfed like a unit with 300 armor, and it was like giga broken. So they literally removed it from the game because of tech. So, you know, that's just to tell you guys how broken it is to put a bunch of armor and HP or tank stats on a melee unit, because it was so it was literally game breaking. They got rid of it, which maybe will come back later with like a little bit of a modification, but they didn't want it to get out of hand, so it literally got removed from the game. I didn't also mention that I high rolled into an Ambessa too. You know, GG I guess, but I was gonna go 9 in a turn or two anyways, so you know, it is what it is. But yeah, look at this giant Ambessa just going around beating everybody up. So next turn I'm probably gonna be level 9, right? This is loot sub, so let's see what we get. We get a spatula. So what do I need here? I need a sword to make a 3rd conqueror emblem. I don't hit the sword. So that's really unlucky, because now we're not gonna have we're not gonna have 9 conqueror, but just wait. Oh shit! We reforged and we hit the sword. Now I lost the 50-50, but I won the 1 out of 8. You know what? I don't care. I know it's high roll, but I deserve that shit. I've had some really rough games in the past couple days. I've been getting like absolutely obliterated by people just high rolling in all of their lobbies. It is so crazy. Give me this one. Okay, I don't want to hear you guys saying that it's undeserved. You know, I've suffered. I'm okay with it, right? This is fine. But anyways, I'm basically going to be 9 conqueror next turn. I just don't have enough time to convert my board. So, yeah. GG. We should probably change the song. I want like the... You know what we should listen to? We should listen to the Voltorb Flip song. This might be too annoying. If it's annoying, you can just put it... I'll put it low so it's not too annoying. Because this... Every time I think about gambling, I think about this song. Am I too old? Am I too old? I'll put it low just in case it's too annoying for you guys. This is all that's playing in my head while I'm playing the game. This is all that's going through my head. Well, I don't have 9 conqueror yet because I need Mordekaiser, but I'm level 9, so I'm just rolling for 1 copy of Mordekaiser here. Right? So we're rolling, and we hit a Mordekaiser. GG. The game's over. 9 conqueror! Look, it's prismatic! You know, I don't think I hit a single prismatic trait in all of set 12 that I played. Like, that's how rare these things are for me sometimes. I never play like around the traits like this. I've got 3 whole emblems and Nox and Guillotine. So now what happens is you just gain a shit ton of extra stats, and on top of that you gain a shit ton of extra like conqueror bonus things. So if you look at the bottom right corner of the screen, I'd like you to avert your eyes right here. We're gonna see some massive cash outs coming out every single turn now. Bro, this is like when you know what this game did? It tickled that itch like when I used to play 8-bit. Do you guys remember 8-bit in set 10? That was my favorite. Oh my god, so much fun playing 8-bit in set 10. So anyways, we get a whole ass item over here. And we get a whole ass Ornn artifact. So Ornn artifact, I'm just gonna take Prowler's Claw. I'll just put on Savika. Fuck it. Right? Who cares? And then we get a whole ass item. It's probably Crown Guard for Mordekaiser. Yeah, I'll take Crown Guard, put on Mordekaiser eventually. Now this is the honorary. Let me scout out everybody's board to make sure that they are not in a spot to win the game. This is what I do now, because now it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go first unless somebody is holding a bunch of 4 cost. So I'm just gonna scout everybody's board real fast, make sure nobody's doing anything suspicious, and then if nobody's doing anything suspicious, we're just gonna win. Look at the number go up. Look at the number go up. So if you want to know, the max cash out is at 1500. So when you hit 1500, that is the max cash out. This is fun. Now, even if I didn't hit the last emblem, let's say I didn't reforge into the 3rd spot, I'm pretty sure I was still in a spot to go first here. This is just like a giga win. This is like a win more in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you guys know what that means. But man, it's too easy sometimes. I wish like 10% of the luck in this game was like dispersed over my last like 10 games. I think I would have been so much happier. But it's fine. This was cool. Anyway, we got a bunch of gold. So that's great. We got a fawn, so we have an extra spot on our board. We got a tactician's crown. So you know, that's cool. And we got a support item. So, you know, I'll probably just take Zeke's here. Yeah, I can start moving items because now I have 2 items for Mordekaiser. We're probably just gonna go level 10 here. I don't really care too much about anything else. We get Scrap in, which is fine. Tactician's crown we could put on somebody. Totally valid. This guy has 2 Enforcer emblems. I think he can technically play towards 10 Enforcer with 2 no, he can't. He needs 3 emblems for 10 Enforcer. Yeah, you need 3 emblems for 10 Enforcer. So he needs a 3rd emblem in order to like be at the same level as me. Man, isn't this fun? Mordekaiser 2! Oh, we got a bunch of gold and we got a bunch of support items. I am up so much resources on everybody. It is insane. These cash outs are so... Like, I don't even know how to position my units anymore. I still have Suede solo frontlined as if that's necessary. I'm just trying my best here. It's fine. You know, we're running out of spots to put items on. I remember when I was, like, playing the game, I was like, I need help. Like, I have no more item spots. But it's fine. It's totally fine. We're 3 Pit Fighter. I know the synergies. Don't worry about the synergies. I'm not really focused on that. I just want to make it to level 10. We're going to try and go for a 3-star 5 cost. Ideally, hopefully that happens. Yeah, I mean... Woohoo! just every board just deleted. You know what's even crazier? This is a perfect game. This is a 100 streak. Right? Unless somebody can, like, hit something crazy, I'm Mr. 100 this game. Which is actually kind of nuts. In my lifetime, I've only had one other 100 game, and I think I've played like a couple thousand games at TFT. Maybe it's under 2,000. I don't remember exactly. I play around 300 games per set, and I've played like 3 sets. I'd say it's like somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 games at TFT. Man, my second game where I might get a 100 streak. Anyways, I'm level 10. Whatever. Now we're going to start rolling for 5 costs. And 3-star units. We have like 100 gold. And it's still loot sub. Let's just pick up the last one. It's another spatula. I'm also getting radiant items. So, you know, I don't know where to put this. So, you know, we'll just leave it on the bench for now. I can't figure it out. So we're just going to roll. I'm going to start rolling now. I missed an Ambessa. I don't know if I want to go for Ambessa 3. Going for Ambessa 3, it's kind of like, okay, the way that I look at it now is like, I don't really care. I know I won the game anyways. I don't care too much about hitting the like 3-star 5 costs or whatever, or the 3-star 4 costs. But it's more so like, okay, which of these will be fun for like YouTube, for you guys in the YouTube audience. So I really want to hit a 3-star 5 cost, so I don't know if I should hold the Ambessas or not. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant, but you know, it is what it is. We'll just roll for it. I'm rolling here because I don't know if the game's going to end too soon. I'm trying to hit Mordekaiser 3. That's my goal. Because I feel like it would fit really well with the board. But yeah. We just absolutely beat this guy. We can also go for Savika 3, ideally. So I'm going to hold some 5 costs. And we're just going to try our best. And as you can see, we hit max cash outs. So max cash out now is just going to be like 2 fawns. Right? So that's great. We capped out Conqueror. Let's go. Achievement unlocked. Achievement unlocked. I think I missed a Savika here. Yeah, I missed a Savika right there. I'm going for either Savika or Mordekaiser. I missed a Savika for sure. I hit Ambessa 3. At least that's something cool. Look, Ambessa 3. Isn't that... Look how giant and gold she is. I'm just rolling. I'm trying to roll as fast as possible. Because I don't know if this guy's dead this turn. That's the thing. So I don't want to fill my bench with other 5 costs. Too many. Normally you just buy every single 5 cost that you see to try and thin out the pool. But because I was like 2 off of Mordekaiser, I was like, you know what? Let's just roll as much as possible. He's still alive, so I have 1 more turn. I'm going to get a bunch of gold right now, and now we're going to hit Mordekaiser 3. Oh, fuck. Well. I hate it when that happens. So, like, the guy just FF'd. I wish he FF'd earlier, because I had my hopes up. That's why I didn't roll much deeper, because I was ready to roll that turn for my Mordekaiser 3. So, you know, I got kind of screwed over. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like, the guy FF'd. I should have mentioned to him that I was making a YouTube video. I would have liked to see Mordekaiser 3. I was definitely going to hit Mordekaiser Civica. I definitely missed 1 Civica. So my bad. I'm sorry, guys. But at least we got Ambessa 3. So you got to see Ambessa 3 for 1 round before the guy FF'd on me. But yeah, that's the game. That's the game. So, you know, hopefully it was enjoyable to watch. I had a lot of fun playing it. I had a lot of fun reviewing it. You know, I wish, like I said before, I wish, like, you know, 10% of this luck was split across all the other games that I played. But I digress. It's fine. Because, you know, it doesn't even really matter that much. You know, there was a game that I went 5th today that I would have really enjoyed, you know, hitting my unit 1 turn earlier. That I could have maybe taken 1 less cash out on this game. Would have been pretty cool. But yeah. You also notice that the items get upgraded to Radiant at one point. There's a point where it just upgrades all your items to Radiant. I don't know if it's the max cash out or the second last cash out, but yeah, that's the game. GG. Tomorrow will be a very normal video. It'll just be me playing like a normal ass comp and getting a 4th. But I thought, you know, it's the weekend. Let's make a fun video for you guys that you can relax. It's also like the Arcane day, so you know you can watch Arcane, come here, watch this, just go to sleep with happy thoughts and dream of high rolling. But anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a great day and see ya.